Now, before we jump right into the actual review for episode 12 of season 3 of Attack on Titan, we do obviously have to take a quick mention for what has happened with this season. There is going to be a 6-month break between the first half and second half of season 3. It's still going to be called season 3, it's not season 4. But in April, that's when season 3 is going to resume. And I've already seen a lot of people online on multiple sites bitch and moan with Wit Studio, saying how lazy they are or how poor of communication they are. And I just want to make a mention saying, like, listen, Wit Studio, they're not Bones. They're not Toei Animation. They're not Kyoto Animation. They don't have hundreds of employees. They don't have as good of workplace conditions. Wit, who is still a baby in terms of a company, they're still an up-and-coming studio. And I've seen comments say, why don't they just focus on Attack on Titan? Why are they doing Vinland Saga in winter? Why not just focus on Attack on Titan so we can just keep having consistent releases? If you put all your eggs in one basket, you're destined to go bankrupt. It's like people who only focus on YouTube AdSense for making money on YouTube. If you do that, you're going to obviously have issues when YouTube shits on you. So that's why they don't. It's why David Production doesn't just do JoJo, they do other projects, because even if you have a moneymaker, if you only use that and you only support that moneymaker, what happens when that moneymaker runs out? That's why they do other productions. So it's obvious why they need that 6-month break. There's a lot of action-heavy scenes. The past couple of episodes, they've had a pretty strenuous work cycle. They've had like 12 or 13 animation directors on the past couple of episodes, which is not a good sign. So them having that break, it makes me happy because I know the staff isn't going to be completely worked to the bone. So it happens, there needs to be a break. Anime production is a hell of a cycle. There's only a few companies with that decent of a work environment. Like those I mentioned, Wit Studio doesn't have a lot of employees too, so give them a break. They're gonna need the time, let's give them the time. Obviously, it won't change some people's minds who are set in stone of screw Wit Studio, they're making us wait, but waiting isn't the end of the world, honestly. But this week's episode, I think, is actually the perfect way to wrap up the first half of season 3, and granted, I know there's gonna be those people saying, why don't they call it a season 4? If the company's calling it season 3 still, it's gonna be season 3. It happens. I think Food Wars had a similar situation happen where it was like a 6-month break in between their season, and it was still the same season, but it happens. The reason I like this episode is it kind of ties everything that we've experienced in this first half together while setting us up with that excitement of we can't wait to see them retake the wall, especially with the after the credits scene. If you watch the ending credits, if you didn't watch it in full, go watch it. It's creepy and I love it because it shows you these snippets that are so spoiler heavy, but if you've never read the source material, you don't know what the hell you're looking at, which I love. So for manga readers like myself, we're like, I know what that scene is, I know what that scene is. And then when you get that actual dialogue between Levi, Mikasa, and Eren, and you're just thinking, like, how did they get to that situation? If you know the source material, you know exactly what's happening. But if you don't, it doesn't spoil you, but it gets you excited for the next core. We may have to wait 6 months, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a 4-year break in between season 1 and season 2. And I just like this because there's so many moments, like how they're kicking off the episode, and you have them all kind of discussing the new serum that they have. They're saying, like, this technology is far more advanced than ours. Could the Reese family have made it? Like, someone more advanced than us had to create this, but also, what do we do with it? And it ultimately gets entrusted to Levi because Levi is always on the field. He can determine who deserves it. Like, they could easily inject someone right now and give it to him, but that's not the point, right? The entire point is to save someone's life with this, so he's entrusted with it. And obviously, Levi doesn't like the idea of is like, if you just want me to do it, tell me to do it, don't ask me. And I love that kind of banter back and forth because clearly Levi, he's in an interesting situation. He now has life or death sitting in the palm of his hands, and he now has to make the decision of who to use it on when the time comes. And I love how when he asks Erwin, like, what would you do? And he says, I don't know, I would have to see the situation, because that's ultimately what it is. It's going to be a coin toss of when that's actually used and when it gets used. And I love how they handled that banter, especially when Levi does tell him to stay on the sideline. Don't come to this battle with us, because he obviously cares for Erwin. He's very much a close friend. He's one of the closest friends he has left that hasn't been wiped out from the beginning. And I love him just threatening to break his legs if he comes on the mission. Like, it's going to be hard to go to the toilet if you can't walk. But he doesn't want him to die, but he also sees that he's the future of humanity. Like, even though he can't fight, he's still a mastermind. He's a genius with planning and making situations work. If they lose him, everything goes to shit. And I love when he does throw it in his face, like, do you care if humanity's screwed? And he's pretty much saying, like, I need to see this. History is about to be changed when we reach that basement. I want to be there. And if I die, Hanji will take my place. If she dies, someone else will take Hanji's place. Like, there's always this, like, he's about the chain of command, but he's also selfish. I like that selfish nature because humans are selfish. And if you're in this type of world, it's understandable, especially when your father was keeping these secrets from you. He got killed because he had these secrets. He wants to see it with his own eyes, and I love that character interaction when Levi essentially says, you're coming on the mission, you're coming on the mission. I love that so much. It was so beautifully well done. But the actual banter between Eren and company was really solid. Like I mentioned it last week, I'm glad we got that kind of season 1 era comedy back, because it's been pretty serious. And like Connie mentions, it's only been 4 months since the Colossal popped back up and Eren tried to take him out and he disappeared. Like, so much has changed in just only a few months, and I like seeing Eren and John like fight and just like no one's getting in their way this time, because they don't need to get in their way. Like, honestly, they've become really good friends, and some truth was said. Like, he's saying, like, if you didn't have this ability, if you didn't have the Titan ability, you would have been killed 10 times over. It's always Mikasa or Levi saving your ass. If it wasn't for the regeneration abilities you had, you would be killed. And there's truth to that. Eren was very much a head-on person, and because of that, he cost other people their lives, and he also almost cost himself his life. But he's very much a different person now, and I think that's what makes this scene so great. It's very much season 1 relevant in terms of like the comedic and just the overall directing, but it actually shows you how far Eren has come, because that fight isn't like season 1's fight. They're actually pretty close friends at this moment, even if sometimes they might not want to admit it. But also just having them kind of sit back and realize, like Eren near the end of the episode when he's saying like, I realized something, like everyone is important for this. If I had to do everything myself just because I have this Titan ability, I'm nothing by myself. Mikasa is nothing by herself. Everyone needs to build into a team to retake that wall. It's not a one-man mission, it's everyone. And I think that's so important, because when you really go back and watch those early episodes or read those early chapters of Attack on Titan, Eren isn't this person. Eren has grown a hell of a lot. And that's why I love Eren so much, is he does develop and he does flesh out, he does recognize his own shortcomings, and he also grows and learns from that. And I think when you finally see those final moments where there's actually people cheering for the squad, the first time in their history, and you're seeing, like, when you look at the first episode, everyone's just booing the Survey Corps. They're always looking at them as the suicidal maniacs, getting their friends and families killed for what reason, but now, the squad that used to be shit on is now the squad everyone is putting their faith in. You gotta understand, like, that has to be the worst stress ever. This mission has, for the first time ever, gave them a sense of, we can trust this squad. If they come back and they don't succeed, like, what would that look like? I always loved that when I read in the manga, but actually seeing it animated with the music, the way it was building up, it gave me chills, honestly. And when you see Erwin, like, actually cheer and get everyone hyped, and then that end card was just so beautiful to look at, too. This was amazing. Honestly, I think this did everything I wanted to. It set the stage for that next arc. It set the stage if you know it's going to be hype, but it didn't leave you on those types of cliffhangers where you're just like, oh my god, I have to wait so long to see more. It was actually like, okay, I'm content, I can wait. Even if I didn't know what was coming next, I know I would be content with this, because it's such an exciting moment. You know what's to come to a certain degree. You got that kind of creepy and eerie flashes in the credits there, but it sets the stage, but it doesn't leave you on a cliffhanger where you have to read the manga. You can wait 6 months and see what happens. This was great. Honestly, this core has been amazing. It's easily the best season of Attack on Titan. Pacing was on point. They definitely touched up what I thought was wrong with the Uprising arc, and now we're just getting into the even better arc of the two, and I can't wait for more in a half a year here. It may seem like a long time, but it's gonna fly by, honestly, especially if you are watching other anime or just have another pastime. This was a great season of Attack on Titan, and we only have covered the first half of it. Can't wait to see the second half animated. Let me know whatever you thought down in that comment section below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Your favorite moment? Whatever you're feeling, let me know, and be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and also hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me in the future. But until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.